Oh my gosh. Do we have some videos for you? Now, as you know, I have been telling you guys that the Atheist Experience Show is a total scam. This is Forrest on the Atheist Experience Show, and he's very, 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 very angry. I don't know if because it says he, him down here, he's lonesome and he hasn't got a date yet. That's the only reason why you would put he, him down there. But we're going to show you why this red ginger is as angry as his red hair. And then I have an extra bonus scam for you. Matt Dillahunty messes up for the 2 millionth time, and I'm going to show you his mistake. Buckle up. This is going to be so much fun. I know you're curious. Why is Forrest so angry? Look at his face. You're going to find out, and it's not what you think. Here we go. Okay, you guys, here we go. So, Forrest is going to explain why he's very, very angry. Um, it kind of scares me. You know how um, some people get so angry about their view that they act irrational. Listen to this. Um, Before we press play on the video, I have been telling you the Atheist Experience Show has given up on trying to disprove God and trying to prove that their atheism is accurate and correct. Rather, they've now gotten into political movements like the trans movement. They're obsessed about trans ideology, especially this one angry red ginger.
What's frustrating is I know that there's a bunch of people who are going to be in the skeptic movement who are like, yes, good, get all this gender ideology out of sight. If you really think that this is bad science, would you rather it be destroyed or debated? For it to be destroyed?
Hold on a second. Let's go back. There was like a little glitch there. So he's saying if it's bad science, yeah, we should destroy it if it's bad science. Why would you want to debate bad science? It's bad. Let's continue. Let's go back to what he said.
Would you rather it be destroyed or debated? Because if you're advocating for it to be destroyed, you're not a skeptic and you need to quit pretending like you are.
So I'm going to show you how Richard Dawkins got viciously attacked by atheists with the mindset that Forrest has. And they took back Richard Dawkins' Humanist Award because Richard Dawkins, believe it or not, he actually finally said the truth. And he said, there's only two genders. That's all there is to it. You remember his famous clip. The leftist, perverted, militant atheist, like the Atheist Experience Show, they're leftist and they're perverted. They turned against Richard Dawkins. The Humanist Association turned against Richard Dawkins, and they took back, well, give us back our award. And I'm going to read you this article, and I'm going to show you another reason why they took back the award is Richard Dawkins was talking about this white woman that was pretending she was black, and people brought it to the attention. She was like running the NAACP, which is a black organization, right? But she was pretending she was black when she's clearly white. I'm going to show you her picture. So that's called dishonesty. That's dishonest. She even did her hair. I will admit her hair looked really good. She did it kind of like an afro thing, but she's still like a white person. But let's continue with Forrest's anger, and I'm going to show you how the atheist community has turned against Richard Dawkins, even though Richard Dawkins told the truth that there's only two genders. See, Forrest here believes if you want to identify as a unicorn, you should be able to. He believes if you're a 300-pound man and you put on a ballerina outfit, you should be able to identify as a real biological woman. This is the madness of atheism. Let's get on with the angry ginger.
You should say we should be debating these things. And these researchers who are coming up with data about the non-binary and non-synonymous nature of sex and gender, those researchers should be arguing their case and presenting their data and facing peer review and going through the most rigorous, difficult tests of their lives to get this data out there and to prove their points are valid. That is what skepticism, that is what science is all about.
No, this is a brand new thing. I'm going to tell you when this came out. This came out around Barack Hussein Obama and Michelle Obama. This really came out during their administration. He pushed this, and Barack Hussein Obama really pushed this a lot. And so did Michelle Obama. They were really pushing this trans ideology. This is something new. It has never been this way, but you can trace it to popping its ugly head up around the Obama administration. I'm not putting it all on the shoulders of Obama, but I mean the Democrat Party and Obama's supporters, even his entire cabinet. Remember the Surgeon General was like a dude wearing a dress and all this stuff. And now with this normal administration, they have banned that type of activity, that type of delusion out of the military. So let's continue with this video, and then before I press play, I want to tell you something it's absolutely hilarious. Richard Dawkins, I'm going to show you what happened to him. Richard Dawkins writes the God delusion, and he denies reality. And he claims that everything's here by luck and chance, right? The humanist organization, the atheist, love him that he denies reality, and they give him this award, right? Then, to my joy, Richard Dawkins finally grows a spine and a brain, and he comes out and he tweets. I'm going to show you what he tweeted. And he says, look, there's only two genders. He disagrees with the two genders. Two genders. That's what I said. But he disagrees with this angry red ginger. So Forrest disagrees with biologist Richard Dawkins. And it's that type of personality, that anger of Forrest, that got Richard Dawkins' award revoked. They actually took back his award. So this is the humor of it, and we're going to play the rest of this video right now, but I just want to say, think of how funny this is. Richard Dawkins comes out and he denies reality that God exists, and they award him this atheist humanist award because he's denying reality. Then he doesn't deny reality in the second event that happens, and he says, look, there's only two genders, and that's all there is to it. Now he is saying truth, and the atheist community turns on him. Not all atheists. I would say they did a little survey on this, and even on his Twitter account, and it was about 78% of the atheists said, yeah, this is making us look bad, that like Forrest believes there's 72 genders, and if you want to identify as a unicorn, you could even do that. It's madness. If you want to identify as a dog or a little kitty, you can do that. So isn't it funny that Richard Dawkins says something that's not true, that God doesn't exist, and they give him an award. Then he says something that is true, that there's only two genders, and they take away his award. Wait till you hear how vicious they were to Richard Dawkins. They were as angry as this red ginger is here. Here we go.
If you praise the deletion of this data and the scrubbing of all of these new illegal taboo words from the literature, if you believe this is even a little bit good, you're not a fucking skeptic. You're a coward.
Whoa.
What's frustrating is I know that.
Whoa. Look at the hate and just the anger he has. So he's basically calling Richard Dawkins a coward. They're basically calling over 70% of atheists. There's atheists on my channel. You can go to my YouTube channel and see. They're like, yeah, I don't buy into this woke stuff. This is some new thing. It's new. Remember, it never used to be like this. You can go back in time and it's new. So now we're going to talk about Matt Dillahunty, the error he made in a moment. But let's now go to Richard Dawkins and the sad story of how the atheist community turned on him. Okay, you see this white lady here? This lady's white, right? That's her when she was younger. This is the lady in question. Look in the top left, Rachel Dolezal or whatever. Well, what she started doing is she started saying, well, no, I'm really black. So let's close this out. And these are her pictures here. So take a look at her hair. Nice style hair. Notice, let's go to Wikipedia. Look at this. So she starts pretending that she's black, right? And people start saying, "Why are you acting like that? Why are you pretending you're black? You're white, right?" And she ended up having to step down. So look at this. She then changed her name to this Kishi Amar Diallo, like because her name was Rachel Ann Delazel or whatever. And notice, is an American activist and former college instructor known for presenting herself as a black woman. And you know, Wikipedia, we're on Wikipedia's page. They're very atheistic and liberal, but they're more left leaning, right? Notice it says, despite having been born to white parents. Why not just say, despite being white? You know what I'm saying? Um, so on her application, she stated that she had black ancestry, and she became the president of the NAACP, which is the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People, and she's not colored. Oh my gosh, this is absolute madness. So here's what happens with poor Richard Dawkins. Richard Dawkins' 1996 Humanist Award revoked over transgender comments. Now, it wasn't revoked over transgender comments. Newsweek, this is Newsweek, take a look. Newsweek is also very left leaning. Look at, they even have a category for transgender. So his award was revoked because the humanist organization wants to deny biological facts, that there's only two genders, male and female. That's why it was revoked. It wasn't revoked because what he said, his comments. Because when you read his comments, they were absolute truth. Listen to this. Biologist and author Richard Dawkins had his 1996 Humanist of the Year award revoked on Monday after his comments about transgender individuals. Richard Dawkins was honored in 1996 by the AHA as Humanist of the Year because, again, he denies that God exists. So, of course, the stupid atheists, they're okay with that. But notice what the American Humanist Association wrote. They will eat their young. They stabbed Richard Dawkins in the back. Regrettably, they said Richard Dawkins has, over the past several years, accumulated a history of making statements that use the guise of scientific discourse. Okay. In other words, he's using science for his opinion. Well, what's wrong with that? I can't believe I'm actually defending Richard Dawkins, but when someone tells the truth, and in this instance Richard Dawkins did, even as Christians should support him. Um, to demean marginalized groups, an approach antithetical to humanist values. He never has done that. Okay? The only group he's marginalized are Republicans, and I'm going to show you. So, what's really funny, this is hilarious. Richard Dawkins, rather than doubling down and saying, look, there's only two genders, and I'm going to stick by that. And this is why they're saying here, notice, he's accumulated a history of making statements. So he's doubling down and he's saying, no, there's only two genders. He's not saying anything different. He's just saying, look, there's male and female, there's only two genders, and that's all there is to it. But watch, Richard Dawkins thought if he bashed the Republican Party, that they would forgive him. If he kissed the ring of the AHA, the Atheist Association, but nope, they still stabbed him in the back. So listen to this. At the end of the statement, the AHA said its board concluded that Dawkins is no longer deserving of being honored by the AHA, and they voted to withdraw his award. Why? Because he had the courage to say what everyone knows, that there's male and female. Jesus said it himself. In the beginning, from the beginning, Jesus said, God made them male and female. There's two genders. So the decision comes shortly after Dawkins posted a tweet about transgender individuals and Rachel Dolezal, this person. Okay? So Dawkins, well, let's just keep reading. Dawkins is using this woman that's white, that's denying reality and lying, saying she's black. He's saying, if you say the truth, you will be vilified. So watch this. Notice Newsweek says that the lady is not white, right? No, she's a self-proclaimed black woman. Newsweek agrees with Forrest that you could just be whatever you want. Can you imagine? Well, I better not go there. I had a funny thing that I could say. A self-proclaimed black woman who was born to white parents. She served as the NAACP. We talked about that before resigning amid controversy over her racial identity. She's a white woman. But the Atheist Experience Show agrees that if you're white and you want to identify as black, you too can deny facts and deny truth. And you could be a black person if you're a white person. You could be a unicorn. The Atheist Experience Show literally believes you can be a unicorn if you identify as one. This is how far they've gone off the deep end. Contact them. Contact them and ask them. Just be real careful when you approach Forrest. The little red ginger hair might pop off the top of his head. He gets real angry when you try to confront him with reality. In 2015, Rachel Dolezal, we already know this. Notice, I'm sorry. Let's read this because this is the tweet. This is the tweet that got Richard Dawkins stabbed in the back by the atheist community, by the AHA. Richard Dawkins said in 2015, Rachel Dolezal, that's that white woman I was showing you, a white chapter president of NAACP. Is that true? That's true. Was vilified for identifying as black. This is the thing that got him axed. Some men choose to identify as women, and some women choose to identify as men. You look what Dawkins is saying. You will be vilified if you deny that they literally are what they identify as. That's what Forrest is doing with the Atheist Experience Show, Dawkins was right. Now, what he's doing here, notice he's saying discuss. Notice it says discuss after this. So he puts up a topic, he phrases it a certain way and says discuss. Well, of course, people were tweeting, they were saying, yes, it's true, you will be vilified by people like Forrest, of course, the angry red ginger, if you call a man when he wants to you to take part in his delusion. That's right, it's a delusion that he's a woman. Do you know Charlie Kirk's murderer was a homosexual atheist having sex with a man that pretended he was a woman? And so Charlie Kirk was saying, look, there's only two genders. So this homosexual atheist that was having sex with a man, his roommate, but the man pretended he was a woman and dressed up like a woman, that atheist homosexual was so angry that Charlie Kirk, this is why I get scared when people like Forrest are getting really violent, like it's something that we should not have anger against people that are just saying the truth, like Richard Dawkins. After facing backlash for his remarks, now watch this. This is so funny. Richard Dawkins says, well, maybe if I bash the Republicans, it's like wink, wink, look, don't take my award back. Look, I'm bashing the Republicans. It's so funny. After facing backlash for his remarks, Dawkins published a subsequent tweet. I do not intend to disparage trans people. I see that my academic discuss, remember he would do these comments and then you would just discuss it, has been misconstrued as such, and I deplore this. And here it is. This is Dawkins' way of saying, please let me keep the award. Look, I'm one of you. Look, even though I'm saying there's only two genders, I'll bash the Republican Party. It was also not my intent to ally in any way the Republican bigots. All right. Now he's like, look, I'm coming back to your side. This is exactly what Forrest says. This is Forrest talk here. This is something that would come right out of Forrest's mouth, right? So Dawkins is now walking like a good little leftist, atheist, Nazi, walking lockstep, doing the goose step here to try to get out of losing his award. It was also not my intent to ally in any way with Republican bigots in the United States now exploiting this issue. Now, let's talk about what does he mean exploiting this issue? In the United States, it's like 95% of the people don't want men beating up women in women's boxing. They don't want men just slamming the ball down in volleyball in women's volleyball. This is not even an issue of what's, what the majority wants or what the minority wants. It's just not right. It's not morally right that we put these women in physical harm. And it's destroying women's sports because any guy can say, yeah, I identify. You could be like a 350-pound guy and you could say you identify as a woman and then go in the weightlifting Olympics, and I mean it'd be ridiculous. And no one wants to watch that. They need to have, if they want to, I think it's sinful and you shouldn't do it. The Bible even says that it's sinful to be a trans. It says, if, for example, if you're effeminate, like a 300-pound guy wearing a ballerina outfit, that you're not going to enter into heaven. I just did a video on that. So notice, here's the actual tweet from Richard Dawkins. In 2015, Rachel Dolezal, a white chapter president of NAACP, was vilified for identifying as black. Some men choose to identify as women, and some women choose to identify as men. You will be vilified if you... Whoops, I clicked his link. Great, now we're going to his link. Oh, let's go here. Well, we're here anyways. Look, here's the actual tweet. that got Richard Dawkins crushed. Now, check this out right here. So this lady that pretends to be black, she changes her name to this name, which is fishy. Why would she do that? And then she gets fired from teaching because she has a OnlyFans account. I mean, this is her right here. This white lady right here, she's mentally ill. She's doing OnlyFans accounts. She's saying she's black. This lady's out of her mind. And notice, um, she gets fired. It says her posts are contrary to our district's use of social media policy. Um, the policy states that employees should not communicate online in any manner that's unprofessional. This lady, Richard Dawkins was right about this. Now, he tried to call Republicans a bigot and tried to escape, but he couldn't. Um, so, anyways, this is just a joke. This is so funny. So, Richard Dawkins says something that's not true, that God doesn't exist and everything here is just a lucky accident. Your lungs are a lucky accident. Your DNA is a lucky accident. Your inner skeleton is a lucky accident. Oh, there's your dog Poochie Woochie. Your dog Poochie Woochie is a lucky accident. Your cat's a lucky accident. Your fish is a lucky accident. Your brain's a lucky accident. It's so stupid. But he says God doesn't exist, and they give him an award for that. He says something stupid that's not true, they give him an award. Then he says something that's true, that there's only two genders, and he says right here, notice in the darked out thing, you will be vilified if you deny uh, literally that they are literally what they identify as. So this is just really stupid. The Atheist Experience show has abandoned science. They've given up on trying to disprove God. But I want you to remember on the video with the angry ginger forest, remember how it said he, him below his name? This is a new thing the Atheist Experience show is doing. They started doing it like around the Obama administration. Look at the older Atheist Experience show videos before the Obama administration. Let me show you. They're not doing it. Okay, so look down here. Notice it doesn't say he, him under Matt Dillahunty or John. It doesn't say that. This is and look at the date, 2017. See it on the bottom right? So the Atheist Experience show back in the day would actually try to disprove God's existence. They would actually try to do it. They've now given up, and let me go to this part of the video because we're going to show you where Matt makes a big fat bald mistake here. They've now given up. The Atheist Experience show has given up, and they have now gone full political mode. Everything's politics. Everything's woke. And the reason why is the Atheist Experience show is located in what's known as the butthole of Texas, Austin, Texas. Um, if you are enjoying this video, I don't make any money from you. I just want to show you guys the truth that the Atheist Experience show is a scam. None of my YouTube channels make money for me, so I do this for you guys so you could just see how atheism leads to madness, and it gives us so much opportunity for comedy. Um, but if you type this in on YouTube, you will have the shock of God. Type in the Atheist Experience show is a scam. I mean, heck, you could even just type in Atheist Experience show is a scam, and you will see my complete series of videos pulled up, and you can see how many mistakes they make. So let's now get to Matt Dillahunty as he makes a mistake, and he talks about water in a puddle.
They didn't name it, of course.
Yeah, what does that have to do with a God?
Well, if there wasn't gravity, where would you and I be right now?
I have no idea what the hell that means or what it has to do with
Well,
a
if the
justification
Earth,
for God.
okay, how far? Do you know how fast the Earth is spinning?
Uh,
Approximately.
900 miles an hour or so, a little less, I think.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, something like that.
I,
So
Now, here's the thing. The guy is the caller. I'll only be a moment here. The caller is saying, look, if gravity wasn't just right, if the Earth wasn't spinning just right, if the expansion rate of the universe wasn't just right, we would have no life on this Earth. In fact, Earth wouldn't even exist. The planets wouldn't even exist if the universe wasn't fine tuned for our existence on this planet. Now, Matt makes a mistake and he says, well, that's like saying the water going in a hole. Wow, the hole was fine tuned for the water. What Matt doesn't get, you wouldn't have any water or even an earth to create a hole if the fine tuning of the universe didn't exist. See, the fine tuning argument does a complete end run around the bald gray one. It does a complete end run around bald Matt, and his gray beard. Listen to that.
I don't know how that's
spinning,
relevant to God either, but go ahead.
well, if it was spinning at 20 miles an hour, or double it at 2,000 miles an hour, pick any number you want. Do you
Sure.
think that would affect our lifestyle?
Yeah, but I don't think that we are the intended purpose of the universe. The thing you're overlooking is that life evolves to fit the situation that it finds itself in.
Wrong, wrong, wrong. It doesn't evolve to fit the situation. For example, Matt said he had to have heart surgery. Well, why didn't life just evolve to fix it? Notice Matt had to go somewhere where they use intelligent design to have surgery. It didn't just randomly fix his heart. We can't even create a grain of sand. Humans can't even create these things. And he's trying to say that, oh, well, there's this like magic power in the universe that just, uh, let's play it back again because I don't want to misquote him. Listen.
20 miles an hour, or double it at 2,000 miles an hour, pick any number you want. Do you
Sure.
think that would affect our lifestyle?
Yeah, but I don't think that we are the intended purpose of the universe.
So, what is the intended purpose of the universe? Notice he never gives an argument.
The thing you're overlooking is that life evolves to fit the situation that it finds itself in.
Wrong, wrong, wrong. You know, I've never noticed this, but Matt's left eye, his left, kind of goes off more to the left. He does lean left politically.
I mean, you can adjust various things and talk about what life might evolve on different planets or how that might change the process by which or the end results. So Douglas Adams had this quote about a puddle of water that becomes sentient and starts looking around and says, "Man, you know, look at this puddle is. I mean, this hole in the ground is perfectly molded to fit me. When in fact, it's the water that fits to the hole in the ground. It's etc."
Let him finish. So that is so stupid. So what Matt doesn't understand is there wouldn't even be water or earth if there wasn't the fine tuning of the universe. So below this video, you're going to see a video link, the fine tuning of the universe. And there's only 3 reasons that you can come up with for the fine tuning of the universe for our existence here on this planet. There's number 1, there's something in natural law like physical necessity, but there isn't. Cosmologists, scientists, they cannot find anything in natural law that would cause the universe to act the way that it does. And there's these mathematical constants, like the caller's talking about. If we were a little closer to the sun, we wouldn't have life. If we were further away from the sun, it's got to be balanced just right. If we didn't have tectonic plates, I think it was not Forrest, Justin messed up and he said, well, we have tectonic plates. If we didn't have tectonic plates, we wouldn't be able to survive on the Earth either. So I had to correct Justin with his mistake there. So what Matt doesn't get is there would be no water, there would not even be the possibility of a hole if the fine-tuning of the universe did not exist. But I will say this, notice the Atheist Experience Show was doing just fine without the stupid, lame, childish he, him pronoun. I guarantee you, if you call the Atheist Experience Show, call them up and say, if I want to identify as a unicorn, can you put my pronoun unicorn? And they'll say yes. Because what's the difference? If you're, let's say Matt wants to identify as a female, what's the difference between him saying that or a unicorn or a horse or a dog? This is why they canned Richard Dawkins. Richard Dawkins told the truth, and when you think truth, the word atheism is not the first thing that came to your mind. Now, if you want to see videos of Forrest being caught in a lie and Justin with the Atheist Experience Show totally messing up, there's one video where I tell Justin he needs a calculator because he gets his math wrong. Type this in a YouTube search. The Atheist Experience Show is a scam. I'm going to put the link below. Also, you could also click the link and you'll see, I think it's about 50 videos now of mistakes that the atheists are making. And would you guys send Forrest maybe something to get him more calm and relaxed? I mean, that guy's got anger issues.
God bless America. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't it great to live in a country that was founded by Christians? It's so wonderful. And we're going to be taking this street legal race bike. It's actually a racing bike, and they've turned it into a street legal motorcycle. And we're going to do a very quick video. Do you know that the Declaration of Independence was signed by 56 men? All of them admitted that God exists. Did you know that? Did you know that Thomas Jefferson said, "I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just, and that his justice cannot rest forever"? Do you know that George Washington said, "It behooves us to act like good Christians"? Did you know that? Do you know that the founders believed that our rights come from God, not government? God bless America. Do you know that Patrick Henry said it can never be emphasized too often or too strongly that this great nation was founded not by religionists but by Christians? Not on religion, but on the gospel of Jesus Christ. Let's make sure the camera is going. It's going. Now, this is going to be a very quick video. I'm going to go through 5 reasons, the 5 strongest objections to why people are not atheist. As you know, very humbly speaking, as I bow my head down, I have single-handedly destroyed every single atheist on this YouTube channel. Let's go around one more time to see Old Glory. Very humbly speaking, I've done over 75 debates. You can go to Shock of God on YouTube and watch those videos of me in debate. The very last debate I did was with Steve Shives, who's here on YouTube. To his credit, he admitted that I defeated him in debate. So, we're going to go through, let's get this mic situated here. Always got to have the microphone like right up to your mouth. Do you know the highest IQ holder in the world is a Christian? You can subscribe to him. I'm going to give you out his channel in a moment. But go on YouTube and type this in. Type in... Hold on. Okay, let's try that. Type in The Atheist Experience Show is a scam. And you'll see how I single-handedly defeated the Atheist Experience Show. I've challenged them, but they backed away from my challenge. They cowered. They evolved, they believe in evolution. They evolved into chickens. My challenge was very simple. Just answer one question. What proof and evidence can you provide that would finally at last prove that atheism is accurate and correct? But they couldn't do it. All right, let's go through. The top IQ holder is a Christian. He's a South Korean scientist. He's not an atheist. Christians hold the trophy of the most intelligent people in the world. Highest IQ holder is Young Hoon Kim. You could subscribe to him here on YouTube. All right, let's show you some stuff on this motorcycle. Watch it. I'm not even like going full speed. This thing is just amazing. All right, so here's the biggest problems for atheism. Number one, the atheists say they lack a belief. Atheists, when you stand before God, that I lack a belief thing is not going to work. I mean, in debate, the atheist would tell me they lack a belief. I lack a belief is not even an argument against God's existence. You fail, atheist. You fail. In debate, I challenged my atheist opponent. I said, I am going to give more evidence for the existence of God than you, Mr. Atheist, can give evidence for your atheism. You see, I used to be an atheist, and the secret Achilles heel of atheism is it's not based on evidence at all. Therefore, evidence is lacking for atheism, and atheism is unprovable. Very stupid to be an atheist. So yes, I always defeated the atheist. You could see me in debate, very humbly speaking, because I had more evidence for God than they had for atheism. It can never be denied that the evidence for God supersedes the evidence for atheism. We talked about the highest IQ holder, Young Hoon Kim. Subscribe to him. He's a Christian. He agrees with me that atheism is madness. Right now, I'm doing a series on the errors and mistakes of the Atheist Experience Show here on YouTube. So, if you want to see something shocking, I'm going to tell you about a video where the atheist defends Satan, because that's the guy on their side. The Atheist Experience Show defends Satan. It's so funny. Why they attack God. Can you be any more obvious whose side you're on? So, go ahead and type this in YouTube and you'll see videos of the Atheist Experience Show defending Satan. And you'll see videos, I'm going to tell you what to type in, of Forrest with the Atheist Experience Show being caught in a lie. I pointed out right on video, I point out how, let me tell you what to type in. Type in, very simple, type in, the Atheist Experience Show is a scam. And you will see so many videos of them lying, giving false information. They're either lying or they're ignorant of the facts. And they're the same show that cowered to my challenge. Go contact them and ask them. They'll admit that they cowered to my challenge. Just answer my question. I've been asking for 19 years, what proof and evidence do you have that would finally at last prove that atheism is accurate and correct? And they have nothing. I also showed that they're a scam. The Atheist Experience Show is a total scam in that they portray themselves as intellectuals, but they're anti-intellectuals. I call them anti-lectuals. I'll go through some videos where I point out their scam. So, Matt Dillahunty failed. I'm going to put the link below. I'll put the links of all the scam videos below this video, and I'll put the link below where it shows that Matt Dillahunty failed my challenge. It says Shock of God, Matt Dillahunty, and it says Matt Dillahunty failed to answer Shock of God's challenge. You'll see it right there below. But let's go through some mistakes that the Atheist Experience Show makes. Justin with the Atheist Experience Show denies modern cosmology and science. Everyone knows that the universe had a beginning. Everyone knows this. We're not in the year 1910. We're not in that year, Justin. But Justin says the universe is eternal. Yet you can go to the very atheistic site Wikipedia, and they agree with what I said and what all modern science says, that the universe had a beginning. So, Justin's a scam, Forrest is a scam. You'll see I caught him in a lie, and I have it on video. Just look below and the link, or if you don't feel like clicking the link, just type in YouTube. Type in the Atheist Experience Show is a scam. So many lies and scams that they've done. I've got a whole collection of them. So we covered in this video, when they say they lack a belief, that's not going to work on the day of judgment, because you see, the atheist isn't going to judge themselves. God's going to judge them. And God says that they do indeed know God exists, and therefore they're culpable, which means the excuse you lack a belief is not going to fly on Judgment Day. I'm going to be there on Judgment Day with Matt Dillahunty, Forrest, Godless Engineer, that one guy that looks like the Hamburglar from McDonald's, Justin. And I'm going to turn to them and say, you guys, I told you, God's not going to go by what you guys are saying for a standard of judgment. God's going to use his own standard of judgment. Let's end the video with this. I just saw a video which illustrates what I want to say about the Stupid, Foolish Atheist Experience show. This atheist this is an actual video you can see on YouTube. This atheist had assaulted police officers, spit in their face, tried to stab one, and he was laughing and smirking in the courthouse when he's standing in front of the judge. And the judge started saying, $1 million bail, $250,000 on this count, $300,000 on this count, and the smile of the atheist started to go away. And you see him just being crushed as this judge is saying his bail is so high that he's not getting out of prison. And, you know, when I was watching this video, I'm like watching this atheist in front of the judge, and you're thinking to yourself, is the atheist just stupid? He didn't know that this was going to happen? Everyone told him. Is he just stupid? And this is what I'm going to say to the atheist when we're all there bowing our knee to Jesus Christ. I'm going to look to the left and look to the right because every knee will bow. And I'm going to say, Matt Dillahunty, were you just stupid? Justin, were you just stupid? Forrest, were you just stupid? Hamburglar, Godless Engineer also. Seth, were you guys just stupid? And all the Christians in unison are going to say to the atheist, well, we told you so.